You go on to say, when we first started training using the helicopters, the plan called for Captain Dan to be the first man off and for me to be the second. Now I had watched enough war movies to know that the first men off any vehicle get killed. For a couple of weeks, we trained this way. I thought, oh shit, we aren't even going to make it off the chopper. I can now admit that every time I stepped off the chopper, the thought went through my mind of getting zapped before my foot even hit the ground. Then after a few rehearsals, the plan changed to where Captain Dan and I were the last two off the chopper. All of a sudden, I thought, damn, now that I'm the last guy off, the bad guys will have their sights locked on. I will get nailed for sure. Eventually, I had to admit that if the good Lord wants me, he doesn't care if I'm the first, the last, or the middle. My maker is going to bring me home when it's my time. That's some good young paranoia, right? Either way, you're getting shot.
Yeah, that's right.
You say life lesson 5, and this is an important one. Be prepared for death. Don't worry about it. You can't completely control it. Make sure that the day you meet your maker is not the first time you've been introduced. If you are prepared at all times, you're free to live life fearless. And that was your attitude eventually. You had to say, you know what? Whether I'm first, whether I'm last, if it's my time, it's my time. I can only control so much.
And, that point was really driven home last week when my wife passed away. That, she was prepared to meet her maker. I know that. And she's in a better place today because of that. So it holds true in my mind. So.
Well, I mean, it's a testament when you can say that, that your wife who lived an amazing life,
yep.
and she passed away, and we were talking before we started that you said, well, we're going to come out here anyways, and we're going to record this thing because she would want me to carry on with the mission.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. It's an important part of the book, and I think that happens with young guys going into combat. You have to get to a point where you say, man, you know what? I could die tonight.
Yeah. But you could do that walking across the road.
Could do that walking across the road. And you can only control the things you control. You can train hard, you can prepare, you can study the plan, you can mitigate the risk, but there's some risk you're not going to be able to mitigate.
Right.
And if you concentrate on those things, it's going to drive you crazy.
I was going to say, it takes away from everything else.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You talk more about some of the training that you did. Again, you got to buy the book to get all the details. You talk about some of the Friday night fights, which was they would bring like a band and booze and women, and they had like a bar set up. And so you do that on Friday nights. And again, it's crazy to think that you guys still didn't know where you were going. Huh. You guys had no idea where you were going. You thought you might be going to Cuba. I think there was somewhere else you thought you might be going.
There were planes hijacked on tarmacs around the world that we thought we might be going in to rescue, people on hijacked planes.
So you have no idea what you're doing.
No. And everybody, we didn't know. We just knew we were going to do some type of rescue, and we trained for it. Mm-hmm. And
did you know that it was real? So
no.
Okay. Because I know sometimes we would get spun up in such a way where they'd be like, hey, we got a mission. And we think, actually, this is the very first deployment I went on. We got recalled. We had little beepers. And I was in Guam, and we had beepers. And they said, hey, if this thing shows up 911, you got 20 minutes to get to base because something's going on. So we get there, and I guess I'm 19 or 20 at this point. Maybe I'm 20 or 21. But anyways, I'm young and very dumb. And I also think that I'm going to Vietnam. I think I'm going to be like the combination of James Bond and Rambo and everybody else. So we show up in Guam on deployment, my SEAL platoon. It's 1992 or 1993. Anyways, but I think there's just, this is it. We're going to war. Mm-hmm. So we go out, we go out to the range, and we get all of our weapons dialed in, and I'm just totally ready. And then I'm doing something, and I get the 911 on my pager, and oh, there you go, here it is, it's on, it's go time. And we run, rush into back to base. We're sitting in our platoon space, and my leading petty officer comes in and says, hey, they went and inspected the range. We didn't do a good job cleaning up. We got to go clean up our brass. So, yeah, not exactly what I anticipated.
No,
but
it's funny.
Yeah, yeah. So you guys are doing this Friday night. My point was that we would sometimes get recalled to do something, and they wouldn't tell us it was training until like we were ready to launch, and some guys would know. Some guys would be like, "Oh, this is just training," but of course I'd be like, "No way, man, it's real," But you guys, so did some of you think maybe this is just a big training operation?
In the beginning, we kind of did, but with Bull being in charge, and all the we saw a lot of brass around us. This was the first mission ever to be under the direct control of Joint Chiefs of Staff. We didn't know that at the time either. I mean, we knew that there was guys in Washington coming down every once in a while, and they would go into the building, and we'd think, why are they there? But nobody ever explained to us that they were doing the same thing up in Washington D.C. But it was a we just kind of kept in the dark and fed on bullshit. That's what we were, and that's the way it started. And we were just told to do our job, and that's what we were doing.